Right, folks, here we are. Wedger's been at it. He's got two uploads on his channel where he's now the podcaster. Bless him. He's got himself a gaming chair. It's either that or, as Kerry Duff rightly pointed out, he's probably in his boy's bedroom. But anyway, here we go. There is two. I've taken one because I'm absolutely sure now my cats are fighting. Hang on, hang on. What's going on here? 1 second, guys. Oh my God, you two. What's happening? Come here, Monty. You're such a little sod, aren't you? Come on, I don't want you two fighting. Quality content there. I do apologise. I should really stop this and start it again, but time is not a friend at the moment. Not a friend at all. So where were we? Yeah, the other one that he's done is with Ramirez. He's the guy who reckons he used to be like a witchcraft person. Yeah, the thing is, I'm absolutely sure that now John Wedger, like he threatened at Christmas, is this big podcaster. He's going to start yeeting anyone on YouTube that uses his content. So we've got to make it transformative. So I've pixelated it and I've sped this one up. With the other guy, because he's got an accent, not being racist or anything like that, if I speed him up, he's incredibly hard to understand. So I'm not too sure. We could probably knock that one on the head and just not bother with it. But anyway, here we go. Apologies, we've got the fair use disclaimer at the beginning of this. I sped it up and I've had to pixelate it because I'm not having Wedger of all people getting rid of the channel. So here we go. And of course, the clown music's back.
Just preparing to live stream. Give me 2 secs. This meeting is being live streamed. I hope you'll...
Here we go. Quality content here from John. Quality content. Hang on. Give me a minute.
Just come up on them. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Right, that's it. We are live.
How can he not know that he's live? That's what I don't get. He was live for like that period of time while he's. How does he not know he's live? You know the second you're live. Ugh.
Live. Right, here we go. Right. Thank you so much, Nathan. It's an absolute pleasure to have you with.
I honestly don't know why he doesn't pre-record these and just premiere them on and upload them to Facebook because they're on his YouTube channel. Cheeky git. Not much of his content is monetized on his channel. I wonder why, because of the disgusting things he says. But he's had the cheek to monetize other people's misery. Oh. Whereas what I'm monetized my channel, taking the P out of Foodie Beauty. Oh my God, Foodie. That's the next one we're going to have because I need a little neutralization of this crap. It doesn't do my mental health any good at all. Anyone sent me an email, I just haven't looked at my emails. I don't want to look at my emails, so sorry about that. I left my phone in my friend's car for a couple of days as well, so there's probably about 8 million answer phone messages on there. I'm going to be terrible at getting back to anyone, so can we all start from scratch next week? So, right, anyway, let's get on with this one. Yeah, next video it's going to be catching up with Foodie. It's quite the thing. It really is quite the thing.
Mate, I'll just give an intro because this is going live on my social media, and over the years I've accrued quite a following, and I've been interviewing victims and survivors of childhood abuse.
Well, you've been exploiting people and you've been having people like Jeanette Archer and the other liars you've had on your channel for your own narrative, right? Is that it? While supporting Wilfred Wong? Yeah? That one?
I'm a former police detective in London, and
oh God, nobody cares. Nobody cares. You've probably spoke. This is your interview, mate. You don't have to give a backdrop of why you're about. Everybody knows your boring, lame ass story. Everybody knows you've never blown the whistle, and oh, I'm getting wound up already. You've never saved a single person. So just stop that nonsense. You don't have to keep patting your own backside. You don't just have someone randomly on a Zoom meet and you set this up. You've clearly spoken to each other. Shut up. We don't care. We know you're a big fat liar. What's this dickhead got to say?
Name for myself in my role in whistleblowing, speaking out about the deliberate cover-up of child abuse. In doing so, the system went against me. To shut me up, I continued
Oh, shut up. Well, it didn't work, did it? You're still here.
to speak out. But I went around once I left the police and I started giving platform to survivors. And then
No, you didn't. You got bought here by Bill Maloney, and you started. Your very first thing was grifting. Grifting. It's still the same. The only consistent thing with you has been your boring bullshit, lame ass story, and your grifting. Oh.
something what started to happen was I started to speak to survivors of what wasn't really known in the UK, but something called SRA, satanic ritual abuse.
What?
And,
It wasn't known in the UK, the Orkney Islands, Cleveland, stupid Brian Gerrish, stupid Vicky Ash, stupid now popped her head up above the parapet Sam Hill. Really, John? Really? Bill Maloney was going on about it before you arrived.
I believe you are a survivor yourself. And can you just give a little bio, a little brief entry about yourself so people over here can fully appreciate you?
You betcha. Yeah, I come from a family of people that were practitioners of this sadistic, ritualistic abuse of children and child exploitation rings. And so I grew up in that family and have come out against it over the past few years and trying to empower people with an understanding of not only the mechanics of how radical, intelligent evil manipulates and facilitates this cover-up and this secrecy that's taking place across our society, but also how we ourselves can get set free and restored out of those systems of bondage that we've all kind of been enslaved by and to.
Yeah, amen.
Oh, God. We're all enslaved. Oh, no. Where's this going? As normal, we're doing this for the first time. Grabbed it, pixelated it, sped it up. It's my computer's not been right since last week. So we're going in brand new here. Oh God.
And like myself, you know, you're a soldier for Jesus, and it's difficult for some people that I interact with, because when they enjoy the abuse, what was done to them was a form of mind control, and it would instill a fear that they would never ever go towards any sort of Christianity, because they would invert, you know, the preaching to Jesus. You know, I've heard of people that have been abused, and baby lambs been cut open over them, also have been abused.
Just be quiet. Here he goes. Here he goes. Now, is he going to temper himself here because he's with the guy from the States? Because they're surely not as graphic as he is. I mean, him and Charlie Ward, they just get off on it. I think a lot of people in this thing actually get off on this stuff. It's like audio. Ugh. Anyway,
And told that that's the Lamb of God. Prayers from the Bible will be read out to them, and it, you know, many survivors of religious institutions.
right, guys, he's actually got his little Jesus crucifix cross on today. I guess that's because of the chicken foot. Yeah.
Such as a Catholic Church and a Protestant church, and a lot of the survivors I speak to, especially the ones that come from abuse within the middle classes, the satanic ritual abuse.
Oh, here he goes, the middle classes. He's got an issue with anyone who's got a few pence more than him, hasn't he? He really has. Grow up, John.
In the middle classes in England, very much sort of people that are held in high esteem within our society. A lot of them were so-called active Christians.
Yes.
They attend church, you know, on the outside.
So-called active Christian, like you, is it?
Well, decent members of society, but, you know, at night, a totally different story would go on.
So that's much how my family operated as well. It was under a similar guise or ruse.
So can we sort of go for a bit of a timeline of yourself and what you enjoyed to a degree, whatever you're comfortable talking about?
Sure.
Oh, he wants the gory details. Here he goes. Hand check, John. Want to see both hands?
You know, and how, you know, you're an author, and your book is snatched from the flames, and, you know, we can promote
Of
your
course.
work.
Everyone's an author, aren't they? This is the thing. Oh, now Jeanette actually is sort of yeeted herself out. We're not going to get into anything to do with Jeanette until there's any police statements or things like that. We can cover that, but anything else, I'm sick of her. I'm sick of her. I'm sick of it. And to be honest, so much that if there's an ongoing investigation, we need to leave it alone and hope that she is held accountable for what she's done. And she's gone, so that's good. That's good. The legacy of her and the destruction and trail behind her will be there. The next one's coming in anyway. Sam Hill's there stepping in. We needed new cast members. This Grift, it never stops. The faces just change.
And how, you were started from the flames. What does that actually mean? So over to you, Nathan.
Yeah. Well, thanks so much for giving me an opportunity to come and share with you and those who are listening today. But for reference of an understanding, my family, like John was referencing earlier, was not an overtly evil-looking family, but rather they kind of, many of the...
What does an evil-looking family look like? I mean, my next-door neighbours, they're killing each other all the time. Like, I feel sorry for the kids in that house because it's a shouting, horrible house. They don't look evil. They're a pain in the backside, and I wish they'd move out, but they're not evil-looking. What is an evil-looking... But oh, actually, no, there is an evil-looking sort of person, isn't there? You can see it in Tony Blair. Like, he's got that sort of look about him.
Individuals who have a lot of power or influence in our society today have kind of gone with a very different approach than being publicly, wanted or being publicly desired as the bastions and the leaders of our society. Rather, they've hidden themselves under layers of anonymity, and they believe that the most powerful position to be in is one within secrecy, one within invisibility. And so my family comes from a very wealthy empire from the eastern United States and came out to the western half of the United States to try to start their own. And my father and grandfather basically took a tack of using and exploiting their children in order to kind of build an empire through blackmail and exploitation. So as a young child, I was raised up and given over to my family members, specifically my grandfather, who operated in the city called Lake Havasu City, Arizona. And what he would do was, as a member of the Knights of Columbus, he was a finder.
Oh, God. The Knights of Columbus. Okay.
For that program.
She was given over to his family. I mean, they were his family. Don't get it.
Recruit other individuals into another layer to that fraternal organization of the Roman Catholic Church that would exploit children under the guise of blackmail and or advancements of degrees, advancements of ranking within that system. It would open up for them doors of opportunity in other areas of their life. They were willing to compromise themselves through the exploitations and the specific abuse of children or their own family members. And so as a young boy, I grew up being passed through this family hands where I was molested and abused and raped and utilized as a prostitute for these men in these orders. And it damaged.
So... Okay, if what he's saying is true, that's disgusting, and it does happen. Absolutely does happen. We know there's vile people who are into vile things. Where is it satanic? Why is it satanic? Why has it got to have this spin on it?
Corrupted my mind and my understandings of sexuality, my understandings of truth and of righteousness and of what is corruption and what is normal, to where incestuous abuse to me became normalized and became part of the family's business. And so at the same time that this was taking place in my life, and as I grew up, my family, though, did not advocate a Roman Catholic Church loyalty on the outside, but rather my dad and my family participated in infiltrating the ranks of Christianity, non-denominational Christianity, and more charismatic movements. And so they would kind of hide in plain sight inside the church. And it would give them the ability to persevere and amidst this systems of chaos that were taking place in my life. So I was living this corrupted...
Yeah, but that's what these types of terrible individuals do. They get themselves in positions where they're trusted and they've got access. It's no different than the swimming teacher or the scoutmaster or, they're sickos. They're sickos.
Constant duplicitous lifestyle with radical intelligent evil and ritualistic abuse, and then being shoved in Christian schools and shoved in Christian churches and being shown this kind of weak version of Christianity, this weak Jesus, and being shown power comes from darkness. Power comes from willingness to do whatever it takes to accomplish your goals. And so I was stuck in that wedge for many years of my life, and I believed violence and I believed vengeance was the way out. And so I began to pursue freedom through the edge of a knife, and freedom through this militant revenge program that I was placed into and brought into to be able to eliminate who I thought were the bad guys. If I could just fight back, if I could just kill the pedophiles, I could be free. But it was another massive lie that left me bloodstained.
Right, so he's just said it himself. He said the P word. There you go. So that's what it was. It was a P ring of filthy individuals.
And riddled with despair at the end of it.
And what age did you actually break free from it?
I wouldn't say that there was there were times in my life where I thought I was free of it. Like when I was a freshman in college and I had gotten out of the United States military and believed I could be free of it. And I tried to just bury it all behind. John, I thought freedom would come from burying up and covering up the secrets and covering up the bloodshed of my past. And it leached out of me and I couldn't escape this madness in my mind. I set myself against it wholeheartedly was after I got married to a woman who did not know about this side of me, did not know about this past of mine. And when we found out we were going to have a child together, that was my moment where I had to set myself completely apart from that family and come out instead against it, because the price for patronizing the family, inheritance really is the access to your child. They want you to give them access to your child for a certain set of days out of every year so that they can traumatize them and abuse them and turn them into basically their pet project. And I was not willing to do that. And so that was when I came out wholeheartedly. I was 27 years old when that real juncture came to fruition in my life.
There seems to be a clear definition between the survivors that I speak to that have been abused in institutions.
The survivors that you speak to, right? Half of them made it up, John, didn't they? And you, genuine survivors, you should be nowhere near. You're too destructive. Let's not forget, you are back in Wilfred Wong. Where's he? Hopefully you'll be going there yourself. But you're too slimy. You're too sneaky.
And within the domestic environment, and those that have been abused within the satanic environment. We've got this.
Because the thing is, I genuinely do believe that Wilfred Wong actually got to a stage where he went nuts and he believed his own horse poop. John Wedger knows this is just a grift, so he's a lot sneakier. He doesn't believe this. We know he doesn't believe it. He knows that it's just a big old grift for him, and and he'll carry on. He'll carry on. Will he cross the line? I think he has. Morally, he's crossed the line, but I don't know. He's a sneaky one. And what will he do? He'll just scream, "I'm a police whistleblower," even though he hasn't given us a single name. Sorry, now the cat's on the table. Jeez, what is it? They normally sleep all day. I don't want to shut them out because one of the cats looks. I don't know. She looks a bit sorry for herself. So yeah. So I don't want to shut them out of here. Right, I've lost my train of thought. Yeah, he's a sneaky one. He's a real sneaky one. He's John Wedger. He knows that fine line, and he'll carry this grift on.
One condition called DID, dissociated identity disorder.
Oh, he should not be talking about things he has no understanding of. When's he a qualified psychiatrist or psychologist, eh?
In which the mind is fractured into many splintered alters, as they call it. But also there is this contractual element to it. And what I've been finding is that child pornography is very much connected to satanic ritual abuse. And it's like the children are the property of the cult. And it is the duty of the parents of these children to utilise these children for their perversion, but also for money-making schemes.
Sorry, I've got an exception with that as well, but we know what his mouth is like. He just said it. I'm not going to say it. Wouldn't that be disgusting images of children?
Child pornography and bribery. Would that be the case in your experience?
Yes. I mean, my family were what you would say are Luciferians, people that were illuminists, that believed the tenets of the Jesuit orders and their edicts, which is a militant approach to counter-reformation. To the best way to counter this massive reformation that was taking place after Martin Luther was that we needed to raise up a militant, pseudo-scientific religious order, an intelligence network that could counter those strategies and infect the world with its agents who were loyal to the papacy and loyal to the Black Pope, the superior general of the Jesuits, who were willing to advance that kingdom of destruction.
Oh my God. Who was that bloke years and years ago that Alex Jones used to have on? See, this is how long I've been in this crap. What was his name? Springmeyer or something like that. Fitz Springmeyer or something like that. This is just rinse and repeat of what he used to come out with.
Under the ruse of building up society and enlightening it with this new age of reason. And so my family members would use the individuals that were participants in this network in order to compromise other individuals, other key players of society or business.
Actually, and that bloke had a load of books as well and used to go on Alex Jones and, spout nonsense like this.
And the religious and educational systems so that they could manipulate them going forward. They did that by creating, like you talked about, what is more or less a mind-controlled slave, someone who was loyal to their abusers. Because you cannot successfully maintain secret.
Yeah, but that veil of silence is instilled into all abuse victims. Shut up doesn't make it satanic. Stop it.
Amidst an abusive environment when that person has the desire to get set free and is willing to talk about what they've been through. So the way that they do that is they start generally before the age of 7 years old, predominantly between 3 and 6 years old, systemically traumatizing the child to cause, like you said, dissociation, this fracturing and splintering of the mind, which can be as basic as somebody who's driving down the road and kind of zones out and you suddenly realize you're back at home again and you don't really remember portions of the drive. That's kind of a basic level of dissociation, all the way to a more extreme version, which is when people are going through life and death situations where they're watching physical abuse happen to somebody else that they know, or they're being physically abused to such an extent that their mind looks
Oh my God, he's like a younger version of Wedger, this one. Oh God.
for an escape.
I wonder if has he gone to the police with all of this, or did he just write a book and he's gone round on the, I got the born again Christian Bible Belt and I don't know, been flogging his books and odd, isn't it? They've all got a book. They've all got a book. Not saying that information shouldn't be shared, but they'll promote each other. Wedge is in this because he wants that American money. He's been after that American money. That testimony of John Wedger that he done the other summer, that 100% was for the American market. Never going to tell me any different because he knows that. I wish he'd just bugger off over there and leave everyone in the UK alone. Just go and move there, John. Bugger off.
We call that dissociation, or this floating away. Often it's synonymous with this butterfly effect and this kind of splintering of the mind. And that new, fresh, clean slate, blank slate of a personality is then programmed to be loyal to the one who maybe comes in the room and makes it stop, the one who rises up out of that moment and puts an end to it and seemingly rescues that child out of that abusive situation and becomes bonded to that child. And this is a physiological, psychological, and spiritual bond that takes place between this aspect of a personality, an alter, or like a little portion of the soul that becomes bonded and loyal to the cult or loyal to the handlers, who then utilize that person to continue to perpetuate their agenda, right? This is the definition of really coercion. And this is how it takes place here in the United States. It's being exposed on a much more rampant scale than perhaps over there, like what you're doing, John, with Great Britain and the kind of older religion that's taken place over there. Maybe the more secreted away and established control mechanisms have kept it sealed up a little tighter than over here in the United States, where people have been coming out against it for a little bit longer. But the fruit of those
No, you had satanic panic. People went to prison for years and years and years and years and years and years, and they'd done nothing wrong. It was like Chinese whispers. It was like a game of telephone. Ooh, God, this guy's annoying. Ugh.
kingdoms are inseparable. And even the Lake Havasu City, Arizona, where much of this abuse was taking place, it's got the Lord Mayor of London's laying the cornerstone of the London Bridge.
The bridge, I heard about that, yeah.
That's literally where this epicenter of that abuse was taking place in my life. And you have Sir Gilbert Inglefield from the Lord Mayor of London in the 1960s who laid that cornerstone and intimately tied this financial control arm of the Red Dragon in with the United States military and religious order here with the Jesuits and the Knights of Columbus. And it was this epicenter that they designed using a gentleman named C.D. Wood, a partner of Walt Disney.
What the jack is he talking about? What is he going on about?
Who would build these theme parks for Walt Disney and these entertainment individuals who are using Stanford research groups and who are practicing out this mind-controlled experimentation on society as a whole scale. So they created
Yeah, there was a lot of weird shit that went on in the 50s and the 60s, LSD and all sorts of nonsense. And they were like social experiments. They were. But governments have been doing social experiments all around the world since day dot. Everything has been that. How to appease the masses. It's got nothing to do with Satanists. It means rich people want to keep all their money, and that's about it, really. Is it ever going to change? No. Is even gonna one little willy bit change because of these two clowns? No, no. The world is an imperfect place, full of imperfect people. This guy, he's very well rehearsed, though, isn't he? He's one of these ones. He goes, he's got to be a preacher of some sort. Got to be.
whole city to facilitate this called Lake Havasu City, Arizona, where they created a retirement community where people could come in and have lots of plausible deniability as to why there were so many older men with so many young children and young boys specifically in this town during all these different times of the year. And so that city came out of this desire to traffic and exploit children and compromise individuals and create a network, a hub in the western portion of the United States for Las Vegas and Los Angeles and Phoenix to distribute out this networks of human intelligence and human resources that they were infecting the society with.
Well, see, the UK, we've got ancient lands. You know, we've got a school which has provided more prime ministers than any others. And we call them public schools, but they're fee-paying schools. The only reason they're called public is because...
Oh, no, here he goes again.
...the public by decree of the Public Schools Act, but allows to have access to go there. But these are elite schools. And,
Yes.
and one of them, they even sing a song called Jerusalem. It's called Eton. That's where near enough every prime minister in the UK has gone to. And these kids are brought up on it's been researched. And it's a Greco-Roman gladiatorial school-type environment where
Yes.
the kids are divested from their parents, put in at the ages, very infant ages, and they're given a diet of whippings, beatings with canes, and buggery. And they've got a system called the
Oh,
flagging
we knew he
system,
couldn't get through
where
it.
the older
We knew he couldn't get through it. He's geared himself up. He can't get through it without being like disgusting. None of us needed an explanation of that. Oh God, what's he going to come out with next?
Boys have got the governance of younger boys, and it's a very sexualised environment. And I've been told by an ex-member, whose father was a member of Winston Churchill's cabinet, that, you know, the fagging system in
Of course, he's been told about that. Now that's very strange because he's talking about the fagging system again. He sort of latched onto this over the last sort of 6-8 months. Story's changed again here a little bit as to how he was informed, though.
It's nothing more than a rent boy racket. So we've got the same thing with our leaders that have gone through this version of mind control. You know, where there has been no matriarchal love. It's just they are made to worship and adorn the system. You know, and even when I was a police officer, I worked in Vice as a detective. And when we would raid brothels, I can always remember raiding a very upmarket brothel in the very wealthy Mayfair region of London. And we come across when we used to just run in and just kick the doors open. And we caught this very well-to-do guy who was, had something to do with the Chamber of Commerce of the government. And he was being bent over and he was being thrashed with a cane by a prostitute. And he was
had something to do with the Chamber of Commerce. It really isn't very difficult to have anything to do with the Chamber of Commerce. I can assure you of that. I've done many a business meeting, not anymore because I've stepped back from all of that. But at Draper's Hall and things like that, where you'd be in the presence of the Capital Fund or Chamber of Commerce, all of these things. Really, really. So he was a businessman then, was he?
Now, I was talking to a criminal profiler about this. You know, well, what is it?
Hang on, isn't John Wedger a businessman? Doesn't he have out of the blue his tree surgery business and his building and all that crapola?
With these upper echelons of British society when they've got this obsession with being caned. And they said, well, what they're doing is they're trying to take control of a childhood situation in which they had no control. So where they were bent over, their trousers pulled down and they were caned, and then sometimes they were buggered. They reconstruct it, but this time they're in control. You know, but so what you're dealing with is emotionally broken men, which have got the emotional capacity of a child. Yeah. And then they are put in charge. You know, they go on about.
All right, psychologist John. Yeah, great. What's your emotional capacity? Sick stuff you come out with. Where's that come from? Got questions here, sir. Got questions.
Child soldiers and how dangerous they are in the theatre of war because they have no emotion and they have the ability to run it blindly into these situations and shoot anything that moves. Well, we have the same with these leaders. They have.
What is he talking about? Oh my God. He's got the sensitivity of a dustbin lid, hasn't he? He really has. He's got the insight of nothing.
Got the same mentality as a child soldier. Something you mentioned, Nathan, which is repeated with the survivors.
Even Nathan's like, what the fuck?
Of satanic abuse. And this is the hero that appears. I hear a lot more in this form of sexual abuse of the role that women play in it than
Of course, not because you got women issues, eh? Nothing to do with that, is it, John?
I do an institutional abuse where the men that are in charge of schools or the priests would come in and abuse children with the satanic. The mother in the UK seems to have a strong role. But the mother is used and she will appear when the child, to take the child out of this environment. But she put the child in that environment.
Why do we say that? Because that's what Jeanette said, yeah? The one that sees lizards.
First place, by trafficking the kid there and giving them to abusers who would then torture and rape them, and then the mother would appear as a hero to take the child away. And the mother then becomes a handler. Because they would associate the mother as being...
Lick his sick mouth. You need to rein it in. This is an American here you're talking to, John. It's not this. Has he ever been to the States? Like it's not the same there. Not the same. And I got away with an awful lot when I worked over in Chicago. But I think that was because I was female. But even they'd be like shocked with the swearing and stuff like that. And I was reeling it in. Yeah, you have to be careful.
You know, the saviour, but in effect it's a bit like, you know, the wicked witch, you know, it's just a facade. And it is entrenched in evil. Something I'd like to ask you, Nathan, about these people, because what they are doing, they are in fact worshipping the devil. In what they do, they might veil it in some sort of positive religious...
What? Oh, God, we're not even halfway through. I'm going to have to try and be quiet, because even sped up, this is going to go on too long.
environment, but it's a lie, because the language of the devil is a lie. But what I found when I've come across certain individuals that try and take me away from what I'm doing, and that is exposing this underbelly of filth, is that they hate.
You are the underbelly of filth. You're exploitative, you're vile, you talk about horrible things, you have sick things going around in your mind, you support people like Wilfred Wong, you gave us Jeanette Archer, the people you associate with. Ugh.
The presence or even the mention of Jesus Christ, it seems to have a negative reaction in them. They don't like it, they don't like to tolerate these very strong, committed Christian environments. And I mean proper committed Christians. People.
No, maybe they just don't like fundamental Christians. I've got nothing against Christians, full stop. As I've said, all religions, if it brings you comfort, then and it's a positive in your life and the people around you, then fair play, go for it. It's just not my bag. And it's not for me to tell anyone else what their bag should be. What's he going to come out with now?
Generally want to go out there in the name of Jesus and protect kids. These people that, and your family that did this to you.
Okay, so what kids have you protected then in the name of Jesus, or actually the name of John Wedger? What children have you protected, John? Oh, hang on. Crickets. We'll wait. No, that would be none. I thought so.
Would they ever manifest in any way that you noticed?
Oh my God, demon possession coming up. Whoop, whoop, quarter please, demon possession.
It's a really good question, because the version like you're describing with kind of those elite public school, like you said, we have a very similar version here in the United States that turns out our presidents and our cabinet members and the senators and congressmen and these elite private boarding schools.
Oh no.
And just a handful of them turn out.
Are we going to go into skull and bones? This is Alex Jones. I feel like I'm in a time warp. I feel like I'm in a 12-year time warp.
Almost all of that kind of upper echelon, and like you said, they're given a completely different experiential system of experiences that they go through, but also.
Oh God, what was that place that he made? He was the retreat that they all went to. Oh, I've forgotten where that was now. Alex Jones done a video. He made out he managed to get in there and all the rest of it. Oh God, I've forgotten what it is. Is that where we're going here?
Educational system that makes them convinced that they indeed have this divine right to rule, that they are the favored race.
Although I must admit, the Bilderberg thing is odd. But then I kind of think it's an old boys network, and they just probably meet up and they all have a good jolly and they do a load of business. I don't know. And it won't be clean business. It's probably his monkey business, dirty business. But these two, please.
They are the chosen ones, and my family members had a similar aptitude for believing that we had in our bloodline this serpentine godhood in us that gave us the authority to rule over the masses. So that physical manifestation.
The serpentine bloodline? Oh my God, he's a lizard. Watch out, John. He might shapeshift.
Like you're asking about at the mention of Jesus, or the mention of the authority of the King of Kings, that from my family was not present. However, when I started to contend against it directly, when I started coming out and basically getting into verbal wrestling matches with my family about how I was finding deliverance and restoration and healing through forgiveness, through literally setting myself apart from that system, when I began to walk in a set-apart way and really look at the scriptures as an authoritative, reliable, historical text that I could bet my life on, and when I began to turn to that and do what the scripture said, then I saw this manifest.
He's got a purple Bible.
This change in that mass, because you're dealing with a spiritual power of embodiment of a body by a parasite, by a spiritual parasite that feeds on the anguish and the torment and the emotional manipulation of the people that are around it. And so my family had been practitioners of this two-faced dualism throughout most of their life, and were very, very good at it. But the mask slipped off very intentionally when I really had these showdowns with them, contending against the spiritual powers that were embodying this demonic spirits, these generational serpentine spirits that these people had been possessed by during these rituals. They drink in the flames of darkness, and they were ruled by it. And that spiritual power, like the last conversation I had with my dad, that mask slipped off, and he was screaming and cussing in the little children's playground at the top of his lungs. And he's never done anything like that. My wife was there and witnessed it. She's never even seen him say a harsh word. But he was vile and demonically possessed on a whole other level.
Oh my God. Maybe he was just really, really angry with you. Maybe he'd had a few years of this BS and he just lost his mind. We've all got a limit.
And ran away screaming out of the park. And that's because there's a reality to it, an authority.
And what I was going to say
in
is
creation.
authority.
You cannot disrupt the order of who is the King of Kings and who has to submit to his authority.
Yes,
and
amen.
all these spiritual powers have to submit to him. Every knee will bow before him. Every tongue will confess that Yeshua is the Messiah to the glory of the Father forever. And so those spiritual powers understand they.
John Wedger is so being outclassed here. He's a rubbish speaker, isn't he, John Wedger? He's got better as the years have gone on, but to be honest, he's got better at his own story. He hasn't got better at anything else. He's not researched things that he's confident in being able to speak about them, whereas this guy is like on a professional level here. So John's gone back into his default mode of nodding like a nodding dog, because he's just a little puppet, isn't he? Really, he was put here for some reason, just purely not just to annoy me, but I mean it's done a good job. Yeah, he's been put here for a reason.
Cannot exceed an authority that's higher than the one that they are governing under. So if they are operating under the authority of Lucifer or this Illumin one or the dragon, they have an appeal for the chain of command of which they can operate and manipulate underneath them. But when they run into an authority that is higher than them, they cannot contend against them. So that's when you'll see these manifestations where this breakdown in programming and physical ability to constrain themselves slips away because the spirits that are behind it are losing their plug. They're getting disconnected from the power source that was allowing them the ability to dominate and control.
This is exactly what I experienced. I didn't realise the journey that I was on and the authority that I was to undertake.
He's experienced this, has he? Have you, John? Yeah, all right. Are you going to take it back to the police for picking on me? Boo-hoo! I've been bullied at work. Boo-hoo!
But someone that came into my life, she knew the path I was on.
Oh no, this isn't the little old lady who had a lizard tongue and lizard eyes who dropped to the floor on the pavement, and is it her? Little old lady. John got scared.
And I have no doubt that she was there to take me away from it. And if you met her, very Middle England, very presentable, polite.
He's got such an issue. Very Middle England. What exactly does that mean to you, John? What does it mean to you? Why do you have such an issue with it? Oh yeah, I mean, we're all people. We're all the same size in the graveyard, near enough. There's arseholes everywhere. You do know that, don't you? Whether you're living on the street or you're living in a palace, there's arseholes everywhere. But you don't see people like that, do you? You see people a little bit differently. I wonder where that little hang-up came from, John.
I've even abhorred swearing. But one day I challenged her, and my word, I've never seen nothing like it. And it was like 3 amplified voices at once coming out, lying to me, convincing that my protection, the reason I'm still alive, came from her and following. And of course, when I challenged it for its name, I got this different name. And then I said, no, my protection comes from my Lord, my Saviour Jesus. Well, that was like getting water and pouring it on hot oil. The reaction was just so obtuse and so vile. Nothing would ever prepare me for it. And
he's got a new word.
And this is what I saw, this breakdown.
Good boy, well done, John.
I asked you that question to see if ever being in that environment, once you started taking authority, because we all have that authority, we just have to grab it and use it and cleanse ourselves and go into.
So is this a different occasion from when she dropped on the floor and she ended up with a bit of a lizard tongue? Remember that when you told us that, John? Or is this a different day? Little old ladies do this around you quite a lot. Keep away from little old ladies. Dirty old man.
Repentance and deliverance, and then we can move forward. But the other side doesn't like it, and you're right. It is all about authority. It's a legalised system. And as much as they're chaotic and they're underhanded and they're deceptive and liars, you still got to play the game. And they do play the game, but they're liars about it. You know, they're serpentine. It's exactly how they trap. Nathan, what I found, what you're describing is a very organised and very structured form of, negative belief, Satanism. I want to talk, if we may, about the other factions, because the United Kingdom is an ex-colonial nation, and we get a lot of the ex-colonies come home to roost to what they class as a motherland. So we've got a lot of people from the Caribbean, the Jamaica and
oh
British
God,
territories.
is he going to start being racist? He's got all this from Spinning Vagina Isabella, hasn't he, and Pastor Patrick. Oh no. And I do believe he's a bit racist. I really do. Classist, racist. Got women issues.
Trinidad, Tobago, these islands, huge communities, West Africa. And what we're seeing is the followings that are predominant in these countries. So there's Opia, O-P-E-A, which is like Santeria. Voodoo amongst the West African communities is very, very rife. I mean, there's a country called Benin, which officially is almost a third of the religion is voodoo. But what they do is they co-join. So a temple that's used for voodoo will also be used for Christian worship, and then
Yeah.
they'll merge them. So there's hardly sometimes any difference between. And what I noticed is that the demonic structure that they follow is
You haven't noticed anything, John. You go over there, spout your mouth off, see what happens. We know that there's voodoo and witchcraft and belief in witchcraft in places around the world. It's not rife in the UK. Shut your stupid mouth.
the same. There will be the Baal worship, the Leviathan worship, the Azazel, all these others, but given different names. You know, the same 9 demonic gods or whatever. I'm not too clued up with the whole demonology. However, I'm learning by the day. I certainly am learning by the day, but the structure is very much
Pastor Patrick, anybody? Pastor Patrick.
the same. You know, the same. For instance,
Has anyone actually been on YouTube and seen Pastor Patrick? I mean, I'm still getting him. I mean, he grafts. He does graft because, like, you can be up really, really early in the morning, like I am, 5 o'clock in the morning, and 9 times out of 10, he's there on a live on the YouTube preaching it like a good one. It's I mean, it's nuts, but yeah, go and have a look. She's yeah. Anyway, watch out for the chicken feet, folks.
Leviathan, you know, the serpent, the sea.
Yeah.
The West Africans, they worship the Mami water. It's the same thing.
Oh,
Mermaids,
Isabella.
and we see the symbolism in popular culture, and we see it in the commercial sense. You
Oh,
know, with
God.
the coffee industry and everything else, the music industry. These
Starbucks.
serpents and these demons, they're advertised, they're used in part of the logos.
It's nothing new under the sun, John. I mean, that is the spiritual powers that demand the worship. You know, and that's people's time, their money,
all
their
right.
energy, their will.
I've heard all this crap before, and not just in the last couple of years. I've heard all this crap years ago.
Their emotions are getting caught up in this kind of corporate merchants of death, but really they have a spiritual power.
And it all died down for a good few years. What's he stirring all this up for? Oh yeah, American money. That was it. And to be famous, because let's not forget he's a public figure and an influencer.
Kind of like the Starbucks here in our country, you know, the split-tailed mermaid. They changed their logo now a little bit, so you can't tell, but these are this is a Sumerian goddess, this mermaid goddess, and that's one of the most powerful and influential companies in this world. You know, we have the same thing that's
What? Starbucks is one of the most powerful, influential companies in the world? No, I think you'll find that the arms industry, pharmaceutical industry, petrochemical industry, you know, I think you might be wrong there, matey.
taking place here in the United States with really occult marketing, you know, where they're openly embracing that here in our country, that we're going to embrace this idea that, you know, it's kind of sexy and smart and fun to have devilish things in our life. You know, there's brands like the Jezebels, and you literally are seeing
Yeah, of course, yeah.
revelation. But, you know, it's the enemy is going through his own revelation right now and revealing his beast system. But there is ultimately the greatest counter to it, which is the revelation of our Messiah, you know, and those scales are getting peeled off of people's eyes as they become more overt. But the family on my side were worshippers of the serpent, you know, and that comes from the Lord Mayor of London. That's that red dragon that is over that.
Well, it's a logo, yeah.
It's not just their logo, like that's the spirit that empowers that kingdom, you know, that is.
You got it wrong, John. It's a logo. Yeah, they just insulted everyone in Wales.
We have massive insurance networks here in the United States. I mean, our financial networks are insurance companies that run this country in so many ways. They are financed out of that Red Dragon's empire. You know, that is controlling over this country as well.
A third of the world's economy goes through the City of London every single day. And what we got to look at is the City of London is its own jurisdiction.
Yes.
No. Oh, God, not this old crap. I'm sorry, I'm skipping a bit. I've heard all this before. Yes, we know it's its own little... It's like the Vatican, isn't it? It is like that. It's like its own little state within a state. Yeah, whatever. I'm skipping because like this has been going on 40 odd minutes because I keep interrupting, so I'm going to skip a chunk. It's on Wedger's channel. If you want to hear the full thing, let's just take about 10 minutes off of this. Oh, might need to take a bit more off of it. See.
Kill the pedophiles and the child exploiters and redeem this society from that scourge of evil. And I saw the corruption in the United States military and people that were attachés to the State Department and people who were working for the Defense Intelligence Agency who were corrupt. And I just saw this constant corruption everywhere I looked. And every time I thought I was entering into a new...
There's been corruption since money, even before money was invented, since trading. I've got this, do you want that? And someone was always going to try and swindle you. That's just a human nature thing, and it's called greed. It's not satanic. It's not, this bloke's getting right on my nerves.
group or a new cell or a new industry that was gonna be the ones who were the heroes, I continued to find, when I rooted into them, this darkness that was abiding inside them. And so I got to such an extent that I was convinced there was no way out, there was no way to get free from these people, that they were running everything, and I could never get free. And as I left the United States military and went into college, and I met my wife, and we have this child, and we start to realize that whatever I gotta do, I've gotta find a way to get out and to get free, no matter the cost. Because I would rather die trying to protect my child than to give her over for a generational punch card to freedom. I wanted her to have life, authentic life, a vibrant, passionate life, the one that I never could have comprehended as an option when I was young. I wanted to give her the gift of choice, that she could choose what her life was, rather than being coerced and manipulated constantly. I wanted her to feel the freedom. And so for me and my wife, the option, the way to get out was to totally commit to another kingdom, to leave and forsake the oaths, to repent of the oaths that I'd sworn to that plumed serpent, to the kingdom of death, to the reaper, that I would repent and renounce those, and that I would commit to a covenant of a lifestyle, walking in my Father's instructions, to guarding his commandments, to walking in the deliverance and the hope of what is promised in the scriptures, and to set myself outside of that system, and to have...
So you wanted freedom and an open society for your daughter, but now, like, she's living in an environment like this, where you're so tunnel visioned on scriptures. Okay then. Okay. I see ya.
Nothing to do with the unfruitful works of darkness, but rather to expose and reprove them, to eagerly battle against them. And when I did that, I mean, all hell broke loose.
How did you do it, Nathan? How?
I did it by confronting them individually at the beginning, but then I realized that I thought my family, but honestly, John, I thought my family had stopped with me. You know, I was brought into the United States military in those groups because I was kind of engineered from a young age to infiltrate the military-industrial complex and to basically be a plant inside there to exploit and advance the family's agenda for them. And when that came to a head and blew up, I thought they were done with me and that the family had failed in that project and they'd be done. Generally, each generation within, like, these governing families will have a chosen one out of, you know, if you have 3 children, if you have 4 or 5 children, you're going to pick one who is going to go through these fires. They call them the scorch trials, or other versions of the descent down into the abyss, or the ascension of Prometheus out of his bondage and back into the fire of enlightenment. They will pass these children through these fires throughout their lifetime, and then as they're able to go into this whatever sector of society that they deem would be the best fit, they're supposed to be able to be successful in there. But if that generation fails, some family members are cut off and not able to kind of have another go at it. So that's what I thought had happened with my family. But when I went back to them to try to warn them and show them, hey, forgiveness has brought me restoration.
God, there's not enough coffee in the world for this, is there really?
You guys, I forgive you for what you guys did to me, and I want you to find the freedom that I've had and that you guys can get out of this. Well, I had no idea about the generational longevity of their planning that had been taking place and was continuing to take place, and their willingness to corrupt another generation. And so there was an explosion of people coming down and trying to hunt down my wife and I and trying to murder us and our unborn daughter at the time. And we got to see the Father intervene and jamming weapons and stopping vehicles and protecting us so that we didn't have to fight with our carnal hands, but we could see there was more power with the words that came out of our mouths and the convictions of our life and confidence.
So I guess there's a load of police reports for this. I guess there is. Must be, right?
In our Creator, convictions with faith, belief in our Messiah. And we began to contend eagerly against it and wage a spiritual war against that kingdom. And we saw that empire was made of smoke and mirrors.
Yeah,
that at the end of the day, if you have a higher authority that you can appeal to, you're immortal until the Father says otherwise. And they understand that. And ultimately, they'll get to a place where they'll stop. They might still try to harass you or character assassinate you, but they change tactics, and they won't directly try to assault people after a certain extent. Or, for me, my approach and tactic was to divulge the secrets, to not keep these lists, the things that I had done in the darkness where they could be used against me, but rather to bring them to the light and allow them to bear witness of, hey, this is what I was doing, this is what I was a part of, this is what this family is all about. If I'm killed off, you know, let the blood of my body be the fertilizer for people's restoration and redemption, rather than for an agenda of deceit to continue to carry on. So
and yet these families are so powerful, aren't they? They're so powerful. They're integrated absolutely everywhere into the highest echelons of governments and society and military. Yet somehow these people are still around. I find that astonishing. I find it astonishing. But I guess that would be the baby Jesus, yeah?
Those were some of the tactics that I pursued. Was radical honesty, was a willingness to make a covenant to my Creator and put my life in his hands and trust that he could give me life and he could give me death. But I would rather be in his kingdom, and I would rather die for the convictions that I have rather than the cowardice that once ruled my heart.
And you can't cross-examine honesty. I can always remember being in court.
Can't cross-examine honesty. Bloody hell, John. Your nose just grew there, didn't it? You have never, ever answered questions. Every time you're challenged, you just turn around and call people a protector or a Satanist. You know you do that, so just be quiet. And every time you call someone a protector, it's actually cheapening the severity of people that actually genuinely do that. So when you do that, John, you going against the very thing that we know you don't care about, that you say you care about. Please. Oh my God.
There was a young girl that had been raped as a child, and she had the strength to bring it forward and report it, and I took the case on, and we had a success.
Oh my God, he's going on about the liar, the lie, the lie. When old Foxy, he's not going to rehash this. It's been proved over and over. Yeah, it's funny, isn't it? He's speaking about truth, and is he actually going to come out with this? Because if I was him, I would be burying that under the. I would be tucking that, sweeping it under the rug there.
In the legal system, and they get the option as a vulnerable person to be interviewed and cross-examined by video link, and she said no. She's 17 years old. This girl said, I want to go into court with you, John. I said okay, and she stood in the witness box and she pointed and said, that man did this, this and this to me, very sexually explicit, you know. They couldn't cross-examine her because it was
Oh yeah, because you're not into that, are you, at all?
the truth. It was so powerfully the truth. Where'd you go from there? If they even cross-examined her, it would just make their client look worse and worse and worse and worse. And that was it, the case. But evil never gives up, even when it's beat, it doesn't give up. It's just so arrogant. But Nathan, I want to ask you something, because I get a lot of people coming to me that have been so badly abused, you know, and they're broken, and I tell them the way is through God, through Jesus Christ. He is the Lord, He is the Saviour, and He fights against the paedophiles, He protects the children. And they say to me, but where was He, John, when I was doing that?
Oh, I can't be doing this.
You know,
We've
and I have
heard
to say
this.
to them,
He
it wasn't
needs
God
to
that allowed
change
that.
the
God never
record. He needs to change the record. He needs a new script. You can't keep drossing out the same old crap, John. We know you're trying to get into the voodoo thing and spice it up a bit. It's crap. Just stop it. Oh, I'm skipping. It's getting on my nerves.
Force himself on you. Our Father will never force you. He will never manipulate you to do His will. He will never demand of you to be in His kingdom. He has one door and one gate in His kingdom. And He says, if you come to me, I'm the good shepherd.
I'm knocking the door.
I'm a shepherd today. I've got sheep out there in the field just on the other side of this camera. I know what it is when the sheep cry out and scream. I know their voices, and I run to them. And I destroy the predators. But let me tell you, there's other times when they cry out in the night, and I am not there. And I do not run out and protect them because I'm not able to. And I don't think it's because the Father couldn't intervene on every one of our lives. But you know what? Sometimes the Father wanted to raise up men and women and children in our generations to be the shepherds who would raise
I mean, are we talking metaphorically here, or has he got sheep in his garden?
up, who would defend the innocent, who would put a stop to it, who would contend eagerly against that wickedness. And you know what? They're trapped in these covens of cowardice that are institutions of men that create pacified, neutered, castrated men who have no conviction, who lack any type of discernment, who do not understand authority.
This is like Alex Jones. You need to have bone broth, gentlemen. You need to have bone broth. Wah, gung, unga, unga. Yes, you do that. Sup it up, buttercup. Ugh.
Who are getting their lunches eaten by a bunch of infantile children who are running and ruling over them.
Well, that's what we mentioned earlier.
That's right. That's exactly right.
And you know, let's not forget the book of Matthew. It says about the millstone. You know, these people think they've got away. They've got away with nothing. Absolutely not. What we're seeing is a revival, especially something I'm involved in. You know, my life is nothing if it's not ironic. The people I'm associating now, most of them are ex-criminals.
Yeah, isn't that wonderful, John? Isn't that wonderful? Your security team. What do you need a security team for? I thought you're doing the work of the baby Jesus. You're going to be protected, aren't you? Yeah, you've surrounded yourself in very, very suspect people. Slow clap for John. Well done. Ugh. He's really getting on my nerves.
Guys, and they've gone to God, and they said, right, we want to put an end to this.
Yeah, well, isn't that great? You can be the most disgusting monster on the face of the planet. You can do horrific things. You can do gangland killings. You can do beating people up. You can do whatever you like. But as long as before you croak it, you go, I'm sorry, God. I'm a born-again Christian. That excuses all the pain and suffering that you've inflicted on people. Yeah, I'm with you. Cough. Ugh.
Before, what they tried to do, society has tried to do, the institution, whatever we call it, the evil, is turn Jesus into a wimp. Jesus was not a wimp. This was a tough guy. This is one hard man.
Yeah, but you are, aren't you? You're a great big wimp. Well, a little scrawny. Well, not scrawny anymore, actually. You're a bit chubby wimp, you are. Because you're the one doing the baby Jesus work. Yeah, is that right? Surrounded, well, we've got a security team. Grow up.
And we are getting hard men coming together now in the name of God, in the name of Jesus Christ, and saying we're not putting up with this. And we're going out there and we're doing what we can, you know, with the tools that we've got. And you know what? We're succeeding.
No, you're not. Don't lie. Succeeding in what? Nothing. More YouTube followers. More subscribers. Yay.
And there is this revival, and we will go out there. And let's not forget the old saying, in order for the triumph of evil, it makes for good men to do nothing.
Oh, yeah, we're bored of that as well. I'm skipping. He's getting right on my nerves. And this is like nearly an hour long. Ugh, it's more enough. More than enough. I'm skipping a bit more. There's going to be it's non-tent here, isn't it?
Re-engineered their society through the education system. And so France and England and the United States took notice of this, and they brought that over into our society. They utilized the pulpits in America in particular. They utilized the pulpits in the Anglican church system to infect society with this idea that we need to have compulsory education, universal education systems. And what they created was exactly the product that you just described. Men that were willing to do what they're told because they were told by an authority figure to do it. We have in the 1960s a gentleman named Stanley Milgram did these experiments where he put people in a room with a man in a white lab coat.
Oh, yeah, is this where they electrocuted them?
Yes, and he had another person on the other side of this wall who would answer this series of questions, and if he got it wrong, the participant is supposed to electrocute that man with increasing amounts of electricity and voltage if he gets it wrong. Well, as this experimenter is telling...
This is boring. We all know about these experiments. If you don't, look them up. It was nuts. But it was kind of like the basis of well, not the basis. It was an added addition to the knowledge and the science of psychology and psychiatry, I guess. And I mind you, having said that, psychiatry is quite a bit different, isn't it? It's very medicine based.
have sexual relations with them and to bow down and eat food sacrificed to the idols, the Father will curse Israel and he will judge them for us. So that's that same system that has been played out over us. To answer your question, the unanswerable question of where was Jesus, where's Yeshua during these abuses, you know what? He has set before us instructions that we are to walk in to get life. He says, if you follow me and you walk in my ways, I'll give you life. I'll protect you. I'll provide food for you. I'll provide clothing for you. I will lead you. You will be the leaders of the nations and not the heel. You will be...
There you go, John. You don't need your security team. Take some advice from this fella. You go out all on your Jack Jones. You go and do your little speeches and your marches. Don't have anyone around you. See how you get along. Toodle off. Go and do another charity walk. Oh no, you've got another old bike, haven't you? Yeah. You've got another old bike, haven't you? Oh look, I found this bike. I'm gonna do another cycling grift. Been there, done that. Rinse and repeat. Boring. Boo. Get him off.
The conquerors of kingdoms and not the slaves. He says, I will free you from diseases, from despair, from debt. If you come and be with me, if you be in a relationship with me. But if you choose to forsake me, if you choose to reject me, you're going to be subject to these people, and they're going to do this to you. And if you read Deuteronomy 28, he tells you this is the offerings for blessings, for walking with me.
It's about witchcraft as well, isn't it? Yeah, they've gone about witchcraft, don't they, within that?
That's right. And so they made evil good. They made children, who are now the adults, who are now the grandparents, they've raised up a systematic indoctrination campaign to turn people away from righteousness, from truth.
I mean, I saw on British TV the other day the adverts. I don't watch television per se, but I was on this occasion.
But you don't watch television, but you see the adverts. All right, mate. You do you. Psychic adverts. Woo, technology. It's all mind control, you know.
And there's an advert coming up, and it's for a monthly magazine. And it's about tarot cards. Teach yourself tarot. And if we look at in Toys R Us in America, they were doing Ouija boards for girls. But...
Oh, no, they weren't doing Ouija boards for girls. They were just Ouija boards there. Pack it in. He's. Do you remember when the Smurfs, they were satanic as well? Remember, along with Dungeons and Dragons and God, just what was her name? Something bright. The little dolly.
Christmas present, and it was pink. It was deliberately designed for young girls, and you think, how is this allowed? But
yeah, and there was a blue one as well. You prick.
It's because people have turned their back. They've turned their back on God. They don't want to know because it doesn't serve them to go to God. And we are going into an atheistic world where they think that it's all many rivers, only one sea, and there is this ignorance. But it says in the book of Isaiah, doesn't it, that my people perish.
Okay, so we're going into an atheistic world. So not Satanist then, not a satanic world. All right then.
Lack of wisdom, and this is what we're saying. It's not trendy. But what we're seeing, and what I'm proud to be part of, are what we call real men getting together and just saying, no, we're not having this. There is a way forward. There is a way to stop this. And if the system doing it, we're going to do this. But we're going to do this in the name of God. And there is a good way of doing, a righteous indignation way of doing this, you know. And hopefully, you know, we'll see some fruits very, very soon. Already we are, but you know.
No, you're not. Oh, you had to catch yourself up there, didn't you? Hopefully, we'll see some fruits from it. Oh, well, we already are. Are we, John? Are we? Did a little truth bomb fall then?
I stepped away from a lot of the work I was doing last year, and now I've come back. With
Grifting, John, grifting.
vigor. You know, you're the second main podcaster. I was blessed to have John Ramirez with his testimony. My good friend James put me in touch with yourself. Said you've got to check out Nathan and his work. And Nathan, I'm going to have to sort of call it short because I've got 90 minutes on this one, and it's been an absolute pleasure. And man, you really are a preacher. You know, I could listen to you for another hour, and the comments coming up exactly the same. So many people agreeing with what you're saying there.
To just say, Tom Dunn, if you read chapter 5 of my book, it's available free on my website. I also have the audio book.
Oh my God! Plug. We're not plugging him. That's the end of that, I think. Should we? Yeah. Oh, all right. Go on, have your crappy plug.
YouTube channel playlist so you can listen to it. But it's called Deliverance in Dallas, and that's where I met Russ Dizdar and Tom Dunn. And those two men were instrumental to bringing me out of this bondage and showing me men of conviction that were willing to stand and contend against this darkness and free people from that internal turmoil and despair. So be bold and courageous always, John, and continue to live dangerously, and the Father will be with you.
Yeah, that's right. And do you know what? There's not much I can do about it. I'm on my journey, and I'm a willing participant. But please plug your book. It's called Snatch from the Flames. It's on Amazon. Am I right?
Yeah, and you can go to YouTube, Nathan Rex.
Did he say snatch on the flames? Or snatched from the flames? Or snatch from flames? Oh my God, Isabella's got another chapter.
To see all of our videos and a lot of the ministry work that we're now doing, just trying to empower people with a way of living that's set apart from the systems of the world, with farming and with traveling and with teaching people how to live an authentic life with our creators and with his people.
Look, God bless you and God bless your family and what you're doing. Please stay in touch. And it's been an absolute privilege, and thank you so much. And I speak out to my audience. Please, can you come forward and go on Amazon and buy Nathan's book and put some pennies in his pocket so we can carry on doing the great work he's doing.
Grift. When's John's book coming out soon? Oh, fucking hell.
God bless you, Nathan.
Oh, and then it'll be the other way around. He'll be plugging John's book over in the States, and they'll lap it up. Yay! It's a business model, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you so much. And hopefully speak to you soon. I've got to have to get my man here now to log me off and to end. But thank you. Have a blessed.
But he doesn't even know how to log off. Oh my God, John! So you are in your son's bedroom? Is that it? You didn't get a new gaming chair? Oh boo! Oh boo! Ho ho ho!
Stay.
Thank God that's finished. Right. Anyway, that's that. There we go. What can we say? Right. Yeah, we're not going to do the Ramirez one. It's on his channel. It's just if I speed it up, I won't be able to understand him, and that's just because he's got a bit of an accent there, as he would. If I speed him up, we're not going to be able to understand. So that's that. Let's see what John dishes out next. Next video I'm going to do is actually going to be Foodie Beauty with an itch and a sausage. Yes, that's where we're going. I think we haven't checked in with Foodie for a long time. Not going to be doing any lives, just because it's a bit of a week this week. Actually, it shouldn't have been a bit of a week this week, but it's turning into it. There's just a lot going on. I'm going to put this uploaded when I can in the evening. Quite possibly won't be around for it in the comments, because I'm not too sure what time I'm going to get back this week. So yeah, there's that. So anyway, look after your lovely selves, take care, and that's me. I'm out. Just catch you again soon. All right, take care. Bye.